Hello everyone. Today I will recap you a K-drama titled Connect. So make some tea and we'll start. At the beginning, we are shown the main character, who, singing a song, walks through the streets of the night city. By the way, his name is Dong-soo. But soon he is kidnapped by a man with a Hollywood smile and his partner, repeating the same phrase, "You have beautiful eyes." These people are organ hunters. Now he is in some kind of laboratory, where they begin to open his chest, and then break his ribs. After that, the Ripper proceeds to the eyes. At this moment, we realize that our hero saw all this, although he was unconscious, and he also sees his eyes being torn out. After the operation, the Ripper notices that something is wrong with the guy's eyes, but the phone rings, and the man is distracted. Meanwhile, strange tentacles come out of Dong-soo's body, so to speak, and begin to restore the man's body. When he came to his senses, he began to look for his eyes in a panic. He takes one eye, and that, figuratively speaking, grows into the socket, but before he has time to take the second, the surgeon begins to scream and call for help. Dong-soo jumps out of the window in horror and runs away. Going a little further, we see a beautiful statue in the form of a woman. She immediately attracts the attention of many people. But soon, after blood begins to flow from it, it turns out that this is not just a statue, but a real once-living person. Soon the police arrive and take the body. After a long investigation, they find a signature on the victim's body, as if the artist had signed his creation. Meanwhile, Dong-soo is playing guitar and soon begins to feel severe pain in his eye, and he is overtaken by visions. He sees everything that another person sees. The guy is trying to concentrate, and notices how someone is looking at astrological signs. He also notices the desktop of this person. As soon as the vision ends, Dong-soo wonders, what does all this mean? And soon comes to the conclusion that it's all because of his eye, which was transplanted to another person that night. As a result, a connection was established between the two men. In the next scene, we are shown Dong-soo, who works at a landfill. He notices bandits who are intimidating an elderly man. Dong-soo asks them to stop, but they beat him up instead. One of the bandits pulls out a knife and swings it. But Dong-soo, with his hand clenched into a fist, stands motionless and does not move. His ear has been cut off, but he is still standing motionless. The bandits get scared and run away, and Dong-soo restores his ear with his ability. Later, the organ hunters, having learned that the man with the beautiful eye is still in the city, go in search of him, since his immortal body could be worth millions. Dong-soo, tired of the visions, decides to return his eye. He comes to the place where he was abducted, but one of the hunters recognizes him and calls for help. Dong-soo miraculously manages to escape, and at that moment a girl approaches him. Her name is Irang. After hearing about his abilities, she hurts him to make sure of it. To save a man from bandits, she throws him off a bridge. Next, we are shown a man from visions. He brings the corpse of a woman to some warehouse. This man is a killer who creates statues. A woman named Lee Sun-hee is going to work. When she arrives there, she notices a large crowd looking at another statue. After a while, she met a man named Jin Seob, while walking, sings a song that Dong-soo once sang, and at this time the man begins to have severe pain in his eye. Dong-soo felt the same thing and saw Lee Sun-hee and their place of work in his visions, and later an album with drawings. Then he realizes that his eye has been transplanted to the killer. Dong-soo came to this place from a vision where he accidentally meets Song-hee. He asks her about a man she was with recently in the same place, but the woman leaves. When Jin Seob heard this melody again in the cafe, Dong-soo had a vision and realized where this person was. But when he found the right cafe, the criminal was no longer there. In the evening, Dong-soo comes to a horoscope specialist. There he notices the PL sign and asks about its meaning. This sign means Pluto. When a man mentions 2 dates of the last murders and asks about the connection between them, the specialist, after checking, answers that Pluto and Venus are connecting these days. The next such date will be December 25th, Christmas. Sun-hee comes home to Jin Seob. They make love. Then the girl goes to get water, and her gaze falls on the sketchbook. She decides to see what's there. After seeing drawings with photos of the victims and a description, the girl realizes that he is the killer. Today is December 25th. Another sculpture was found in a field. There's a crowd of people gathering there. There are also detectives and organ hunters among them. When they spot Dong-soo, they rush after him. The hunters caught up with him first. One of them cut off Dong-soo's hand, but the man returns her to her place. Just at this moment, Irang appears and saves the man. They exchange numbers, and the guy runs away. At work, Sun-hee notices Jin Seob and asks him to talk to her alone. She asks him about the sketchbook she saw and the last drawing that was drawn before the murder. Their conversation is overheard by a colleague, but at that moment his phone starts ringing. Jin Seob notices him. First he hits the girl, and then he tries to throw the guy off the roof. While Lee Sun-hee is unconscious, her phone rings, and the same melody sounds in response, which causes men to bond. Dong-soo has a vision. He sees everything that happens on the roof. He's right next to this building right now. But he doesn't have time to get there, and Jin Seob throws his colleague off the roof, and he crashes. When the girl wakes up, he kills her too. Dong-soo sees all this and starts to panic. He sneaks into the building and tries to find the killer. Accidentally noticing the killer's coat, he follows him. But before he has time to look at him, the guards arrive and take Dong-soo away, and Jin Seob accidentally notices that the man's wound is healing. Dong-soo is the main suspect in all the murders. All this time he was being watched by cameras. At this time, Jin Seob reflects on how Dong-soo found out about him, and comes to the conclusion that it's all because of the transplanted eye. In the next scene, Iran and Dong-soo are shown to us. They are at his house and talking. It turns out that she is a writer and is studying this connection. She became interested in this topic because as a child, a guy from the compound saved her from death by jumping under a truck instead of her. Dong-soo then began to talk about himself, about the hunters and the killer who had his eye transplanted. After the conversation, the girl removes the blindfold from the guy's eye and puts on sunglasses, explaining that this way he will be less recognizable. A little later, we are shown Iran, who, through a pre-installed listening device in the office of the organ hunters, hears their conversation that the person who has had an eye transplant is very ill and may die at any moment. She tells Dong-soo all this, and soon he has a vision and sees the killer drawing his portrait in his sketchbook and planning to kill him. Also, in addition, Jin Seob showed the man his next murder. It will be 3 little girls. At the end, Dong-soo enjoys the music he composed himself and which became famous, but he has a vision again in which he sees himself from the outside. He realizes that the killer is nearby. When he comes to, he sees a figure watching him. He runs after him, but the police arrive, arrests the man and takes him to the police station for questioning. That's all for now. A retelling of the rest of the series will soon also be on the channel. Thanks for watching.